All Sports Plug today, here with Hall of Famer Edgerrin James. How are you today?
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm doing great, feeling great, happy to be part of the show.
So the saying from gold teeth to gold jacket, as we mentioned a lot with your name, what was it like growing up in Immokalee, and when did you know football was the answer to success?
Well, Immokalee is a typical small town, and it's one of those places that football is life. Football was everything to us there, and growing up there, that was one thing that if you could do it well, you knew that it could get you out of Immokalee.
So your first official visit was to Ohio State. Did you visit any programs after that, or did you always knew you wanted to be a Miami Hurricane?
Well, during the time University of Miami was going on probation, so that made me consider other places. I've always wanted to go to the University of Miami, South Florida kid, and I always wanted to be close to home. But being that they was going on probation, we had to look into all the other options, and Ohio State was one of the options. I took a visit there. It's really not my thing to be away from home at such a young age, so it was easy to not attend Ohio State, and also, when the opportunity came, go to the University of Miami after realizing that the sanctions weren't that as bad as people made it out to be. I knew it was an easy decision to go to the University of Miami.
Just like I said, Ohio State was probably the only other place you visited. Why Ohio State compared to other colleges?
Well, it was a school that the running backs have opportunity in, and that's the first thing you look at. It was a big program, nice school, nice facility. It had everything you're looking for, especially as a running back. But outside of going to Ohio State, it really wasn't too much interest from myself to really entertain other offers or entertain other schools, because I knew deep down inside I wanted to be at the University of Miami.
And how did Butch Davis and the coaches out of Miami prepare you for the NFL?
Well, Butch Davis come from the NFL. He had an NFL background, and by him coming to the University of Miami, he instilled everything that they did in the pros. He was with the Dallas Cowboys, and everything that they would do, we would do, and we had a system that was, that prepared you for the NFL, and that's one of the things that you'll notice from all University of Miami guys. Like, they're pretty much NFL ready, especially guys that came up under that organization.
So the UM versus FSU rivalry is big in college sports and big for Florida natives like us. Where would you rank it in college sports?
Well, the UM versus Florida State, it depends on what teams we have out there. As far as the rivalry, it's one of those that it's hard to match it, but you have to have both teams on the A game. Both teams have to be loaded, and that's when you'll get a good game. That's when you'll really get the best out of what the school's rivalry is all about, because all those games came down to some real close games. It's just over the past few years, it's kind of been lopsided. We went through the sanctions where we wasn't up to par, and then they've taken a dive where they're not up to par. We haven't had it to where both teams are together and at full strength in quite some time.
So your dreams finally come true. In 1999, the Colts drafted you with the 4th overall. What's it like finally putting on the Colts hat?
And once you get drafted, it's one of those feelings that you really can't describe, but you finally accomplish what you set out to do. And then when it comes to putting on the uniform, it just goes back to playing sports and playing football.
So a lot of analysts said at the time that passing up on Ricky Williams, which was the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, was a mistake. But then you go out there and win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Walk us through your rookie season and the motivation you had.
Well, that was irrelevant. It really didn't have nothing to do with my motivation. I was self-motivated. My thing was to get to the NFL. Get to the NFL and be a ball player. It had nothing to do with who they picked or who thought this or who thought that. At the end of the day, it's about me as a man being a football player, and it has nothing to do with nobody else. And as far as being motivated, I come from the University of Miami. We want to represent no matter where we at.
So I think we can both agree that you were one of the best running backs in the 2000s. Where would you rank yourselves among other stars like LT, Priest Holmes, Sean Alexander?
Well, as far as ranking, that goes to the people that do that. I just go out and play. I go out and play. I had a successful career. I've done what I was supposed to do. You know, I think every team is different. I think every individual is different. It depends on what your team is looking for. You know, I was able to provide things that my team was looking for. I was able to do things in every facet of the game. So I can't compare to no other guy because I don't look at it like that.
So after you leave the Colts in 2006, they win the Super Bowl. But then the owner sends you a Super Bowl ring. What was it like knowing the impact you left on the team?
Well, you already knew from your time that it was a family. You know, we've always been a family. Sometimes business come in between certain things, but it's not gonna come in between family. And we've always been family. We'll continue to be family. And when the coach sent me the Super Bowl ring, it was a nice gesture, very much appreciated. You know, and it's one of those things to where you always remember because you do what you're supposed to do. I can't help because the business, you know, kind of separates you.
So then you signed with the Arizona Cardinals, and in your second season with Arizona, you guys make the Super Bowl. What was it like just competing for Lombardi?
To compete for a championship, that's the ultimate goal. You have guys that have never made it to the playoffs, or even have played a playoff game, or even won a playoff game. To even make it to the Super Bowl, you know, it's one of the things that you'll always cherish and you'll always remember because that's the ultimate goal, you know, as a player.
So in 2001, just 6 games into the season, you tear your ACL. What was it like dealing with such a gruesome injury, and did you ever doubt yourself?
No, an injury that I ended up having, you know, it's one of those things that once you know that you can't come back from it, you know, it comes down to the person, it comes down to the man, and seeing if he's going to do what it takes.
So after football and after basketball and a lot of professional careers, a lot of players after the NFL become bankrupt, but you've had a lot of success after the NFL. What's life like after the NFL, and how do you find financial success?
Well, I can't speak for other players, but there's a lot of factors that go into why guys are bankrupt or they struggle financially. You know, there's no true manual that everybody has to go through, so you can't really, you know, look at them in a down position where because everybody's getting their money when they're 20 years old, 21 years old. You know, you're super young and you really don't even know much about finances, especially where you're coming from. But for myself, you know, I've always taken care of myself. I've always had a business approach. I got a business background, you know, and anything that I've done, I've always made sure that I try to make sure it's a business decision, and that's what's always protected me. And the things that I've done, I'm always willing to share to the guys that's coming up, the guys that are in the position that I used to be in, to make sure that they don't make those same mistakes because nobody's untouchable. You know, you really don't understand how hard it is to save all that money at such a young age.
So what players in the NFL right now would you compare your game to?
I really don't know. I can't really put it on this person, that person, because you know my game was a little bit of everything. Now the game is not so hard-nosed. It's not as physical as it used to be. It's a more finesse. But I was also involved in the passing game also. So it's a lot of guys out there that can do both.